Yeah, already. Welcome. And as per usual, I am just Jeff. And today I'm going to go over something kind of simple, kind of easy for the most part. If you're just popping in, hello. And if, it's what it is. So, what we have here is a modular building that is a mock. It's my own creation, um, based off pictures, based off book ideas, things like that. I basically made this just because I would like to have a Lego city at one point. And to do that, you need buildings. Also, to do that, you could also spend $250 on a modular sold at the Lego store or online or Bricklink or from a private seller, etc., etc. Or you could be a crazy bastard and just build one yourself, or at least attempt to. Yeah, it varies on how well it's put together and how well it'll look. Sometimes people will think, "Oh man, is that a set?" And they'll be like, "Nope," and you'll have a little smile on your face. Other times you're bare bones in it and hoping for the best. And there's nothing wrong with either of those things at all. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting some brick placement here at the foundation of the building. It's going to be pretty simple. All I'm going to do is move this headlight brick over to here, which should be pretty simple. Except for the fact that it's not going to be, because the way that I built this is dependent on a structure in place. Okay. So we just do that. Which also now has created a problem of sorts that is fixable. So as you can see, this will go right here. This will go right there in between the step and the whoosits. Pretty simple for the most part. And it does create a bit of a gap there. So what I'm faced with is, how do I fix the gap? There's a couple ways I could do it. What I am going to have to do is figure out some maths and to make that work down there, which shouldn't be that difficult in theory. I say in theory because sometimes I don't really know for sure or anything like that, but just bear with me as I get this done. We are going to make it work. Sometimes it's just what you got to do with a build. I suppose if I had planned this out better, I wouldn't be in this position, but where's the fun in that? So what we are doing is making just a little bit of a stepstone here with these two bricks and a tile. That'll go right there and across the doorway, so we'll pop that off. We'll do that, and we've got that secure where it needs to be. The next thing that I need to do is going to be a little bit more on the difficult side, as I don't have a lot of tan pieces. That is problematic in so many different ways. So this leads me to try one of two things. Look through a bag full of tan that I have that is somewhere off camera over here, or do something else. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do to make this work. Also going to have to find a piece that can go right there and make it work as well. Actually, I think I've already solved the problem. So that's a plus in my book. So we're going to rip this off right there. We are going to push this back by 1. So all I need to do at this point is find the 1x1 tan brick, which should be pretty simple in the giant scheme of things. And yeah, it looks a little wonky right now, and it's not the best is what it is, but like I said, all I need to do is find the 1x1 tan brick that will go right there to complete the look, and that way it's not so broken up. So if you'll just give me 1 second, I'm going to try to get lucky. Good enough for now. So let's change this up and let's make this a little bit closer to what we had in mind originally. And that's not going to work. So if you excuse me for just 1 moment. Hello, random person that's in the chat. Apparently I have 1 viewer, so that's awesome. Hello and welcome. This is about as interesting as watching paint dry, but what I'm doing is just making a modification to a mock. We're going to be doing some tiling, and we're going to go from there. So give me 1 moment. I'm hoping that I have a tan brick in here, because when it came to separating all the brick, well, things didn't go really as planned in that area. So stand by as I do this. I do apologize about the rattling of bricks, but it's just how it goes with the hobby. I'm sorry. I'm building with some of my favorite colors as far as mishmash and two-tone goes, which is the light blue and light tan there. I always thought that the colors themselves went together extremely well. So all I need to do is just find a 1x1 tan brick, and I'll be able to solve this little problem that I've walked myself into. Of course, if I weren't old, my eyes would be able to tell me if that's the right color or not, and it's not. So I'm just going to do a little bit of modifications here. There she is. Got myself a tan brick. We're going to start moving and grooving from here. And we've got all of these bricks locked in because it is an interlocking brick system. As you can tell, this part of the wall is not connected, so it's easier to lift up and move in case you need to modify it or anything along those lines. We'll take our tile. We'll round this out up top up here. Pretty simple. And there you go. And then when we put the second story on top, it'll make it all nice and tight, and we'll be able to go from there, okay? So the reason that I'm putting some trim on this building today, in case you've seen my Instagram pictures, you've seen it with trim or without trim or whatever, but the trim was offset, and it was bothering me a lot. My OCD was in high gear and was like, yeah, it doesn't look right, so we're going to have to keep this second story on because we're going to try to hide the ugly gray and tan mismatch of coloring here. On camera, it doesn't really look that bad. It's like, well, yeah, it's a division of blah, blah, blah. But with the trim here, hopefully we'll be able to do a better job of separating those two colors and making it look like a whole functioning unit. I picked white because white pops out against this background really well. So the next leg of the journey is basically me doing this, hoping for the best, and hoping that it works all right. I did cheat a little bit. I did find some pieces earlier to make it work, I hope. So we're going to find out if this pays off or if I'm in serious trouble. Alrighty. So this is too long, so we're going to have to adjust. Because of course we are. And what I did was use a headlight brick at the very bottom so that we can attach that just like that. It's not going to be plush against it. I like to give it a little bit of depth and a little bit of razzmatazz, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, so that it looks like it's a little deeper than what it really is. We'll connect that tile there, and there we go. And once again, that is too high, so what we're going to have to do is find a 1x3 to hopefully cover up that blemish. Or we can raise that up just a little bit too, so it's not touching the ground completely, and we can go from there as well with a shorter brick. So it looks like that'd be a 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4-ish piece that we need to right there, 1x4. So I thought I set that up here so I'd be a bit more prepared. Unfortunately, we're going to have to go digging for bricks again. I am a monster when it comes to how I sort. I have all of my 1x-whatevers in one giant bin right here. So try not to judge too harshly. And that's too high, because of course it is. So we'll just do this. And that's too low. We need that extra stud, so we do need that 1x5 in there that doesn't exist. So what we're going to have to do is completely wing it. Hi, Lindsay. How's it going? No worries. What we are going to do is just build a little bit here we're going to have to rig it up so that it works. This is not my first rodeo of miscalculating in math, so... Or my last, if I'm being honest. So we'll just do this real quick. We'll make it pop and make it look real nice. I guess first we can just do this, which has already been completed and already looks about 1,000,000 times better outlining this door here. As you can tell, there we go. Perfect, perfect. Just like that. Looks pretty good. As much as I can anyway, and now all of a sudden it's not cooperating. There we go. Okay, so figured out what it was. Because that space is not an even space down there, there is a little bit of a gap, but that little bit of a gap isn't going to bother me as the ugly portion of the mock is covered up, as you can tell, with this trimming right here. It is extremely loose. There's not a lot of connector pieces right here. If I wanted to do that, I would have to rebuild the entire foundation, the entire wall over here, and we're not going to do that today. So, all right, we've got the front corner all situated and all sectored away. We've got a light on here to indicate that this is the front of the house. If I had some number plates, I would put some numbers across there just to make it more of a friendly home. But it is what it is, and I got to do what I got to do. So let's get this done, or at least attempt to get it done. So let's see here. So we'll take a 1x6. We'll put that right there for now. The 1x4 is not going to do it. We are going to need a 1x5, which is going to be a little fun. So if we do that, that's still off just by a little bit. Just a smidgen. As you can tell right there, it's not even or flush with the other side. So what we'll do is we'll raise this up by half a stud. And that is as good as I'm going to get it, I think, for today. So we're going to readjust again because I do need one little bit of things down here. So the problem is that I've got a light that I want to put on this. And the top of the light's going to go right there, right? Like everything is fine, nothing is wrong. Go about your day. Let's set that the way that we were meant to, by putting it right here with the half a stud length so that there is a bit of a gap here at the bottom. Okay, so that's how it looks, right? It looks great, except for the fact that I have to go this way with it. Now I do have another stud over here, and I do believe what I'm going to have to do is bring this up and over, which shouldn't be a problem, in theory. And if it is a problem, that's okay too. We deal with it. There we go. Alrighty. So as you can tell, we're pretty parallel across here. We're not touching, but we are equal heights. We do have the garden basket down here up front. I'm not going to bother with putting the tile behind that because it is covering up that portion of the wall. Once again, there is a little bit of a gap for zero space down there, which is a good thing in my opinion. Alrighty. So the next part of this is that we're going to have to adjust the height of the light. Okay, and we're adjusting the height of the light. Height of the light. That is very difficult. Thank you very much, Lindsay. I appreciate you like the exterior colors. They're really fun to build. These are two of my favorite colors. So, at least for building with Lego anyway. So we're taking the trim, which is basically a tile and a 1x6 plate. It's not rocket science. We're attaching those two as they should, and we're going to put them right there across the bow. Mind the sailor attack. So we've got that across like that, so it's, you know, it's getting there. And it looks like that's going to be a 3-prong connection right there. So we're going to take a 1x4, I'm going to see if my math was wrong. It's okay if your math is wrong. You can always fix it. And we're going to go across the way right here and see what it's like. That is too long, so we are going to need a 1x3. Oh, digging for more parts. And there it is. A lot of people will say you're organizing your parts wrong, and to you I say poo-poo. So we'll connect that right there. All right, so the important thing about this is that now we have a basis for how this looks, right? So we don't have to build vertically anymore. We can take this down and we can put it on our desk. So that's what we're going to do right now. Alrighty, so this is the problem that we're facing. It's not a huge problem, but it is a problem. Now I could do it one of two ways. I could do it like that, and we could secure a connection that way, right? The only problem is that leaves a stud exposed, and we've still got the stud at the bottom of the house itself that is exposed, because we can only cover one of those with the tile that we're using. So we've got one of three options that we can do. I can try to find the 1x3 tile to put up here to cover it up to make it better, but I would still need to find a 1x1 tile to cover up the bottom, which is, fine and everything. Maybe I was wrong on how many options we have, but those are about the only options that I can think of right now. A variation of those, whatever. So what I'm going to have to do is basically that. That is a nightmare, Lindsay. Mine is a nightmare too, but it's a little bit of a separated nightmare. So, at least in my opinion. You folks sort your Lego however you would like. I will just look on in horror if that's the case. So in my little tile selection here, I don't have a 1x1 tile. It's white. That's a problem. I am going to do a quick recon of my desk. I've been putting some parts out for the day just because I knew that I was going to be doing this. So hopefully I proved to be a little bit... No, not even a little bit. Okay, great. Fantastic. So, let's see what we can do. This is my box of tile. I keep decorated tile separated from this, but for the most part, this is a vast majority of the tile that I do have. So we're going to dig through this real quick. I do apologize about the digging noise as we go through Lego. I do hope people are having an excellent Saturday. It is BrickCon, the virtual show. I was supposed to go, but unfortunately I could not make it due to many different factors. I will try to go there tonight, maybe catch the tail end of things, but it's all virtual anyway, so from what I've been told and from what I've experienced. Ooh, nice. That's what the theory for this was over here, was a shelf full of boxes. No Lego dumping on the floor today. That would be a problem. Our living room is currently a mess because that's where we sort. And it's a nightmare. I don't even want to be in there for the most part, but alrighty. So here's what I have for the tiling job, for the trim job that's going to go out front. Okay, pretty simple, pretty easy. Nothing too complicated. It's something to remember when you're building. Keep it simple. The only problem was that I was building with odd numbers across the way here, which was problematic. So I advise that you don't do that yourself, or you're going to be in the situation that I was in, where you're trying to make it work. Alrighty, so Boom, bam. We are one step of the way closer to being done, which is a plus. As you can see, we have the trim all around here. Yes, that would be very terrifying. A little baby with Lego. One wrong slip and you're having a day. It'll end up like that kid on the news who had a Lego brick stuck up his nose for like 6 years. Alrighty, so I do apologize if I do get quiet. I am trying to find the pieces and parts and things, so it's nothing against anybody. I am just trying to find stuff. Because I swear I put some of this stuff out so that when I ran into this problem, oh, I know what I was going to do. Alright, so there's that. I wanted to put the little wedge at the bottom here. So we're going to take this off the wall real quick so that I can apply this so that I don't mess anything up. Or at least mess it up more. Very carefully. There we go. Boom, bam. So we've got that trim going right there. There we go. And we've got our trim all set and proper. It is half a stud down though, so I have to fix that right now or it'll drive me crazy. One more. There we go. Perfect. We now have some trim on the front of our building. It looks a little bit more poppy. What we are going to have to do is come up here eventually and put more trim that goes up the side of the building as well. And just like we did to the front, I am going to presto change this and do some magic here and show off that we have some trim on the back of the building as well. We do have to come down this side eventually at one point, but I'm pretty happy with the way that this looks on the back, if I'm being 100% honest. I'm okay with it being a single bar as opposed to an outline. Thank you very much, Lindsay. I appreciate that. But it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. That. There we go. So I think this Wednesday, over on Just Jammin' with Jeff and Joey on Maniac for Bricks, we are going to be doing some spooky builds, and we are going to be talking about the community just a little bit, and some highlights from BrickCon. I do believe, at least I'm going to talk about highlights from BrickCon. I don't know what Joey's going to be on about. Me too. Those came in extra packs, and I was really happy with them, the street lamps here. And I like that aesthetic for the future city that I don't have built yet. So there's that. The little guy that lives here on a stoop. Maybe. This is problematic. There we go. Okay. So we've got that all set and all proper. We've got the stairs that still line up with the top story upstairs. The top story is empty, but the first story is definitely full. I'll show that off real quick. As you can see, there is a full interior on the bottom floor here. Nothing too fancy, just Pretty simple. I am really proud of those stairs. Just saying. And we'll take the second story here. I did have to change the windows on the back because I don't have any more of these white frame windows on the front here, so I put those all on the front so that there's some window dressing. Plus, nobody really ever looks at the back of a mock. I still like to make a back of a mock, though, just, so that I guess it's there. But I think that's it for today. I really appreciate people watching. I really appreciate you joining me today, Lindsay. It means a lot to me that people are actually liking what I'm doing, so that's even cooler. That's about it for me today, so thanks for coming. Have a great Saturday. Bye-bye!